I should have had a baby with Paris Hilton over Kim Kardashian. You know, Kim was Paris Hilton's assistant.
What's going on with it? That is if I ever go to India outfit. Really?
I should have had a baby with Paris Hilton over Kim Kardashian.
There was a story that came out, a video that was shown saying back in the days when Kim K was Paris Hilton's assistant.
Yeah.
Was it true? Was Kim K Paris's assistant?
Yeah, she used to sleep in my guest room. Yep. And then some weird shit happened. I'm not gonna say what happened, but and then she made it to the mat.
Kanye West just dropped a bomb on his ex-wife and her longtime friend, implying that Kim Kardashian and Paris Hilton may have been linked with Diddy. And what's even more shocking is that an alleged tape might have been confiscated during the raid at Diddy's residence. Now, if you've been paying attention, this theory about Kim and Paris being connected to Diddy isn't brand new, but things took a sharp twist after Scott Storch recently came forward. Scott, a well-known producer and songwriter, was around for all the major events and behind-the-curtain scenes. And this wasn't some offhand remark. He detailed exactly what was happening inside those elite early 2000s celebrity circles, and it aligned with Kanye's narrative a bit too well. That time, Scott was living on Indian Creek Island, one of the most exclusive areas imaginable. Around the same period, Paris Hilton entered the picture. She first linked up with him through music, but their bond didn't stop there. They ended up in a serious relationship. But the most important part? She introduced him to an entirely new tier of fame he had never accessed before.
And then I sold it like a couple years later to move closer to disaster, which was, I was safe in Bal Harbor, and then I moved to Palm Island, and that's where all happened. So yeah, Paris came to work with me. We ended up dating, and
according to Scott, she brought him into the world of paparazzi, the non-stop party scene, and that flashy celebrity vibe. Everything from appearing in Us Weekly to being spotted on TMZ. He already had the riches, the vehicles, and the lavish lifestyle. But she pushed him into that public spotlight. Before all that, he was just locked away in the studio. He even admitted he used to feel too anxious to act like he truly belonged in those circles.
Like paparazzi's nightlife, being like the man, Us Weekly, fucking, TMZ, like this whole party life and wild shit like that I never experienced before, because I was like in the studio night and day. I was rich, I had every car you can imagine, but they only went from the house to the studio and back. Like friends would come over and like they would go to the club and then they would come back after, but then I would ask them how it was. I think I was like nervous.
But once Paris came into the scene, everything flipped. That was the moment when it all started to shift. He said he got caught up in it and even admitted it was a period where he acted unlike himself. The rush of Hollywood drew him in, and from there, he ended up surrounded by people he now calls the type who look down on others. He didn't call out any names, said that would be too disrespectful, but the message was clear. Those people broke down who he was at his core, turned him from a soulful, humble guy into someone chasing the spotlight.
I got so caught up in that, and it changed who I was. Like, I was hanging out with, like, people that are just not good. Like, people that think they're better than others. Like, I don't want to call out names or whatever, it's too insulting, but just like Hollywood douchebags. And like, you are what you hang out with. And it changed me from being this like innocent, like soulful, like, organic person to like this quest for fame and this quest to like I wasn't even like real.
But then entered Kim Kardashian. That time, she was mostly recognized as Paris Hilton's closet organizer. But Scott revealed something that caught everyone off guard. He mentioned she used to stay in his guest room.
A video that was shown saying back in the days when Kim K was Paris Hilton's assistant.
Yeah.
Was it true? Was Kim K Paris's assistant?
Yeah, she used to sleep in my guest room.
That alone was surprising, but what truly stood out was how he noted something had shifted. He didn't dive into specifics, but whatever happened caused her to stop staying in the guest room. She moved into the master suite. That quiet transition spoke louder than anything he needed to say.
And then some weird happened. I'm not gonna say what happened, but and then she made it to the master.
Paris eventually discovered it, but by then, she and Scott were already finished, and Kim walked right into the picture. He referred to it as commiserating. Both were going through tough times, dealing with their own issues, and somehow they came together.
It was just like she and I were done, and like I think we're both like had it, and we were like commiserating. What did he say? She's commiserating at the house from.
Although he praised her for being real and driven, he said she was authentic, motivated to make something of herself, and determined to build a name. That's when he said she followed Paris's path, particularly when it came to the overseas scene. There was a formula, and Kim played it perfectly.
Cool girl.
Kim was awesome.
Yeah, like
what was awesome about her?
She was organic, and she was just like, you know, eager to like. She wanted to like build her career up. She kind of followed Paris's blueprint with the foreign after or whatever. But at that time, she was just a cool kid and like.
Then Scott brought up
the Bugatti. He recalled arriving at a mansion on Washington Avenue in that vehicle with Kim sitting in the passenger seat. But here's where things got interesting. Scott pointed out that in the footage, all eyes were on him. No one realized Kim was right there beside him. As he put it, that was Kim K, and no one noticed it at the time.
a picture. That's $1 billion Bugatti. Oh, shit. That's Scott Storage? Yeah, that's Scott Storage, yo.
Oh, snap. Who the hell is Scott Storage?
Yo, he's a dude that make all the beats and yo.
Oh, look at his girl. This picture of his girl, man.
That's Scott Storage, dog.
Man, look at his girl, homie. Get in the car.
Scott Storage.
Following behind him was his second vehicle, a Mercedes Maybach 62, driven by someone Scott referred to as his guy. And according to him, that same guy was the one who carried all his cocaine.
My car too behind him. That was my driver that used to carry all my.
Mercedes Maybach, I think.
That was 62.
That detail wasn't shared like a brag, felt more like an unfiltered glimpse into that world. A look at how quickly things moved, how blurred the lines became between fame, excess, and pure survival. That leads us to what Kanye revealed. Before Kanye married Kim, he was fully aware of what he was stepping into. He knew about the tapes, not just the one with Ray J, but several. And even now, he's still out here trying to keep them from being exposed.
Kanye flew home last night, and he came back this morning. I want to show you guys what he got me. He got me all of his tape back.
Oh, Kim. Oh my God. That's amazing.
But he's done now. Just recently, he was on Twitch allowing viewers to overhear while he vented yet again. And this time, he took a direct shot at Kim. He reportedly said he would have rather had a kid with Paris Hilton than with Kim Kardashian. That comment alone sparked a huge reaction online.
I had a baby with Paris Hilton over Kim Kardashian. You know, Kim was Paris Hilton's assistant.
What's going on with it? That is if I ever go to India outfit.
I said I had a baby with Paris Hilton.
He didn't end there. He continued, suggesting that if he'd had kids with Paris, he'd be part of a legacy linked to the Hilton dynasty. According to him, that could have meant generational wealth, hotels, real estate, the entire package. But beneath the irony, there was a clear sense of frustration, as if he was still struggling with the decisions that brought him to this point. At one point, he reportedly said he wasn't even staying at a Hilton anymore, almost to highlight the distance between his past expectations and his present situation.
Can you imagine if I had kids with Paris Hilton, how many hotels I have now? You get what I'm saying? Think about that. Think about that. The Hilton. You know, the Hilton. I think I was staying in the Hilton. Right?
But here's the thing. The Hilton family hasn't controlled their hotel empire since 2007. That was 5 years before he even got involved with Kim, and 6 years before they welcomed their first child. So ultimately, it wasn't about ownership. It was about what it represented. About Ye looking back, realizing he stepped into a system he never truly directed, and now he's left confronting that regret in the public eye. In his tense discussion with academics, he also confessed that he didn't want to start a family with Kim just 2 months into dating her, but said the decision wasn't his, claiming it wasn't aligned with God's plan.
Children with this person after the first 2 months of being with her.
Around that same time, reports began to emerge that Kim was considering pursuing legal measures to limit his time with their 4 young kids. Not exactly out of bitterness, but maybe because of how unpredictable he had become. Kanye wasn't unaware of it. He responded by saying Kim's only real leverage was her ability to take his children away.
Is to take my kids. I had a baby with a assistant, bro.
It sucks, you know, when someone doesn't see how different they are. You'll always, hope that you'll see a glimpse of them.
When placed next to what Scott disclosed, things started to become clearer. He described how Kim moved fast, shifted social circles, and quickly aligned herself with influential power players. Scott reinforced this with another incident. He recalled an old studio session where Kanye stopped in. Dr. Dre and Kanye had arrived while they were already deep into working, asked for a photo, and left soon after. But then, oddly, he returned wearing a totally different outfit just to retake the exact same photo. Dre and Scott exchanged looks, both puzzled, silently questioning what it was supposed to mean. Later on, Kanye allegedly stormed out and referred to Dre as the devil. Scott said Dre was left confused by the whole scene. Maybe Kanye felt the music being produced didn't match his spiritual state. Maybe it was something more personal.
Kanye, not to just be on dissing Kanye, but I remember he came in to visit me and Dr. Dre, and we're in the studio in the middle of making beats, and we were kind of interrupted, but we were all right, cool, whatever. And he's like, I need to take a picture with you guys. So we took a picture with him. It was cool. He left the building, went to drove somewhere, came back and said, my outfit wasn't right. Let me take another picture. And said, and me and Dre looked together He stormed out of the studio one time. Later, I was told, I wasn't there, with Dre, and he called him the devil. He's like, you're the devil, and he ran out
Kanye called Dre the devil?
Yeah.
What prompted that?
I don't know. Making devil music for me or something. I guess he was on his whole...
Seemed like Kanye was trying to hold himself together while everything around him appeared never to have been real from the start. One viewer said bombs were dropped. The fact that he isn't sharing every detail might actually mean he's being truthful. Another said he met the witches of Hollywood and his life was forever changed. Many others have been ruined too, even to this day. Sound off in the comments because this conversation is far from over. And if you're into explosive revelations and unfiltered moments, you know what to do. Tap in and keep watching for what's coming next.